Hi, and welcome to my channel, Summary of Everything. A channel which will, hopefully, realize its title one day. The topic we're summarizing today is the entirety of the universe from its beginning all the way up to modern day. So let's get into it. The universe began with a massive explosion called the Big Bang. Although, the Big Bang was not an explosion in the traditional sense. It was a rapid expansion of space itself. For the first few 100,000 years, the universe was a hot, dense soup of elementary particles. As the universe expanded and cooled, it began to form atoms and molecules. The first stars and galaxies formed about 13.8 billion years ago. Our own solar system formed about 4.5 billion years ago. Our solar system formed from a cloud of gas and dust that collapsed under its own gravity. Life on Earth first appeared about 3.5 billion years ago. The first life on Earth was probably simple, single-celled organisms. Humans evolved about 200,000 years ago. Modern civilization has only existed for a few thousand years. So, next let's break it down a bit more from the point that life existed on Earth. Life on Earth began at least 3.5 billion years ago. The first life on Earth was probably simple, single-celled organisms. It may have been made up of simple molecules that could reproduce themselves. Much later, the first multicellular organisms evolved. These would have been small and simple. They may have been similar to algae or slime molds. The Cambrian explosion, which occurred about 540 million years ago, was a period of rapid diversification of life. Many different types of animals evolved during this time, including the ancestors of all the major groups of animals alive today. This was accompanied by the evolution of new body plans, such as hard shells, limbs, and eyes. The cause of the Cambrian explosion is still not fully understood, but there are a number of theories. One theory is that the rise of oxygen levels in the atmosphere allowed for the evolution of more complex animals. Another theory is that the formation of new ocean basins created new habitats for animals to live in. The Cambrian explosion was a pivotal event in the history of life on Earth. It led to the diversification of the animal kingdom and laid the foundation for the complex ecosystems that exist today. After this, the dinosaurs ruled the Earth for about 165 million years, from the late Triassic period, about 230 million years ago, to the end of the Cretaceous period, about 66 million years ago. This period of time is known as the Mesozoic era, which is divided into three periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. The first dinosaurs were small, bipedal carnivores. They gradually evolved into larger, more diverse animals, including sauropods, long-necked dinosaurs, theropods, meat-eaters, and ornithopods, bird-hipped dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were the dominant land animals during the Mesozoic era. They were the apex predators, and they played an important role in the ecosystem. However, they were wiped out in a mass extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous period. The cause of this extinction is still not fully understood, but it is thought to have been caused by a combination of factors, including a large asteroid impact and climate change. The only dinosaurs to survive the extinction event were the ancestors of birds. Birds are living dinosaurs, and they are the closest living relatives of the non-avian dinosaurs. The mammals, which had been relatively insignificant until then, took over after the dinosaurs died out. Mammals first appeared on Earth about 210 million years ago, during the Triassic period. They were small, shrew-like creatures that lived in the shadows of the dinosaurs. The earliest mammals were probably insectivores, meaning they ate insects. They were also nocturnal, meaning they were active at night. This allowed them to avoid the dinosaurs. Once the dinosaurs died out, mammals began to diversify. They evolved into a wide variety of forms, including herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. They also became more active during the day. By the time humans evolved, about 200,000 years ago, mammals were the dominant land animals on Earth. they had adapted to a wide variety of habitats. Some of the most important mammals before humans include Morganocodontids. These were the earliest known mammals. They were the small, shrew-like creatures mentioned earlier. Multituberculates. These were a diverse group of mammals that lived from the Triassic to the Cretaceous periods. They were herbivores, and they played an important role in the ecosystem. Marsupials. These mammals give birth to their young alive, but they do not carry them to full term. Instead, the young are born very small and immature, and they complete their development in a pouch on the mother's body. Marsupials are found in Australia and South America. Placentals. These mammals give birth to live young that are fully developed. Placentals are the most diverse group of mammals, and they are found all over the world. Finally, humans. We started our evolutionary journey with Ardipithecus. This was the earliest known hominin species, and it lived in Africa between 4.4 and 3.9 million years ago. Ardipithecus was a small, bipedal ape that had some features that are similar to humans, such as a large brain and a forward-facing pelvis. Then there was Australopithecus. This was a genus of hominin species that lived in Africa between 4 million and 2 million years ago. Australopithecus was more bipedal than Ardipithecus, and it had a larger brain. Some species of Australopithecus, such as Australopithecus afarensis, are thought to be the ancestors of the genus. Next came Homo habilis. This was the first species of the genus Homo, and it lived in Africa between 2.4 and 1.4 million years ago. Homo habilis was a toolmaker, and it is thought to be the first species of hominin to use fire. Homo erectus followed. This was a species of hominin that lived in Africa, Asia, and Europe between 1.8 million and 150,000 years ago. Homo erectus was taller and more robust than earlier hominin species, and it had a larger brain. Homo erectus is thought to be the ancestor of the genus Homo sapiens. Finally, before us was Homo neanderthalensis. This was a species of hominin that lived in Europe and Asia between 400,000 and 40,000 years ago. Homo neanderthalensis was larger and more muscular than Homo sapiens, and it had a larger brain. Homo neanderthalensis is thought to have interbred with Homo sapiens, and some of their genes are still found in modern humans. And finally, us, Homo sapiens. This is the species of humans that live today. Homo sapiens evolved in Africa about 200,000 years ago, and they migrated to other parts of the world over time. Homo sapiens are the most intelligent and adaptable species of hominin, and as we know, have had a profound impact on the planet. It is important just to note that these are just the broadest stages of human evolution. There were many other species of hominins that lived during this time, and the exact relationships between them are still being debated. However, these are the most well-known and well-studied species of hominins, and they provide a general overview of the evolution of humans. Humans evolved about 200,000 years ago, and since then, a very brief summary of what they've been up to is as follows. 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens first evolved in Africa. 150,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began to migrate out of Africa. 100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens reached Europe and Asia. 50,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began to make art and music. 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens reached Australia. 12,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution began in the Middle East. 5,000 years ago, the first civilizations emerged in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China. 1,500 years ago, the Roman Empire reached its peak. 1,000 years ago, the Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain. 500 years ago, the Renaissance began in Europe. 200 years ago, the United States of America was founded. Today, we are the dominant species on the planet, and we are able to use AI to help us write YouTube content. There are over 8 million different species of life on Earth. We are still discovering new species, but many of them are threatened with extinction. The universe and life on Earth is a vast and complex subject, and this is just a brief overview. However, I hope this gives you a better understanding of how our planet turned up and how life has evolved on it since then. Please comment below and like if this was useful to you, and let me know if there's a summary you'd like to see me making. Also, please consider subscribing for more useful summaries in the future. Thanks for watching.